I managed my college radio station back in the early 70s. Oh man, it was a great time to be a radio man. So many amazing artists were coming into the scene: Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Queen. But one day I was sent this record. Many historians would credit the Allman Brothers or Leonard Skinner with establishing Southern rock and its distinctive sound, but the Wernot Brothers' Good Time Band actually came before all of them. They single-handedly established that good old boy image of the subgenre, as well as the general foundation of what would become 1970s guitar rock. The thing was, though, nobody had ever heard of them. Every time I would bring up the Wernot Brothers in conversation, no one ever knew what I was talking about. I tried to research them, but there was no information about the group anywhere. All that I knew about them was that they were represented by a label called Green Bus Records. So I started there.
The name's Humana. Edward Humana. That's humanizing, humming along to a Green Bus record. See, that's clever because I'm founder of Green Bus Records and I manage artists on the side. Music artists, not those little fairies with paintbrushes. So this guy Humana, after a few other failed business ventures, had decided to start his own record label in '74, I think. The label was looking like another failure for Humana until he discovered the Wernot Brothers and unknowingly captured lightning in a bottle.
My name's Deuce Wernot, and I play in the Wernot Brothers Good Time Band.
I'm Dermot Wernot.
The name's Dick.
I'm Dudley, and this is Duke. They call me Daryll.
My name's Dallas, like the state.
We're a family band born and bred right here in Hollywood, South Carolina. I'm hoping to make the Wernot name mean something. Nothing more frightening to me than being forgotten. Seems like a wasted life if no one remembers you.
When I joined the band, I didn't fully understand what I was getting myself into. Basically, my brother Deuce just came to the dinner table one night and said, "Dick, you're playing drums in my band."
I always thought Deuce started the band so he could try to impress women. You could say Deuce was a hopeless romantic. There was one little lady he'd go on and on about, but once he realized they were first cousins, he shifted his sights onto Peggy Ride. Miss Ride, he'd call her.
Now see, his obsession with that Peggy broad never made much sense to me.
Yeah, she fell out the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down.
I tell you, she'd make a freight train take a dirt road.
If she were an inch taller, she'd be round.
If I had a dog as ugly as Peggy, I would shave its butt, make it walk backwards. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, she's so ugly she'd make a big old train go down the dirt road.
Now, ain't that just what I said? I write music because it's a passion of mine, and quite frankly, could be quite lucrative if you have enough talent.
It was almost as if the Wernot Brothers had a crystal ball and could see the future of where music was heading. The rock genre would wind up becoming a huge commodity by the end of the 70s, man, turning into a multi-billion-dollar industry. But it was way back in 1968 when they formed the band.
Yeah, the boys didn't have any room for me in the band, so they let me be their roadie, which I'm happy with, because I get to wash their equipment. Wash. Every band needs a roadie. You cannot get by without having a roadie. There's got to be somebody to do the dirty work of touching the equipment and moving it around. One time I fought off 15 assailants trying to steal their equipment. He was 15. He was an assailant. He was 15, and he kicked my ass.
They toured between the Carolinas relentlessly, sometimes playing up to 8 shows a week.
We were playing bars, we were playing taverns, we were playing saloons.
Years of gigging went by, and they just really didn't have much to show for it. Love them boys, but they just could not break through to that next level. But everything changed when they signed with Green Bus Records.
Green Bus Records was still in its infancy. The Wernot Brothers were the only act on his roster at the time, so Humana devoted all of his attention to them. The next logical step? Record an album. It was classic country with a jam band feel. Ripping guitar solos and lyrics that would pierce your soul.
Teacher asked me why I missed your class. I told her
Deuce won't admit this, but Peggy is in all of the songs in one way or another. That doesn't mean that she deserves any cut of the royalties, though.
To see those boys in a studio, it was as if all their hard work was finally beginning to pay off. They were happier than a dead pig in the sunshine.
I had my reservations about signing a recording contract, but as soon as Deuce heard that anyone had any interest in our band, he was on that like a hussy on Rasputin.
It was just another ploy to get Peggy to notice him.
I didn't really care. I was just happy to be playing Rockstar.
Listen, the kid wanted to make it big, and he knew that I was going to be the one to get him there. As long as he knew that I was going to be taking 40% of the door. That's 40% of ticket sales, by the way, not the door.
There was so much to like about the Wernot brothers. They were a really tight-knit, talented family. They had so much going for them, but when it came time to promote the album, Ed Humana really dropped the ball.
I don't think anyone really knew that we had an album for sale at the record store. 2 weeks after we released it, I was talking to my mama about why no one was buying it. She didn't even know I was in a band.
We basically signed our life away to this guy, and he hasn't delivered on any of his promises.
It's like we went from the frying pan to the fire.
Now, if I had my druthers, I'd have slapped him to sleep, then slapped him for sleeping. Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining.
Look, I was young and new to the business. There were some growing pains to be expected, but I definitely made up for it with some genius promotional concepts.
Normally, when a band releases new music, they tour to promote the album or try to get their songs on the radio. But Humana had zero experience in the business, so he started pitching the band these extremely elaborate publicity stunts to get people's attention.
First, he suggested we rename the band to the Starfleet Commanders, which we rejected.
Now, when I heard there was talk of matching uniforms, that made me madder than a mosquito in a mannequin factory.
He wanted to somehow launch our record into outer space for aliens to discover.
And all of these outlandish ideas start to make sense once you learn that Ed Humana was a Trekkie.
The fact of the matter is, he believed in us. He gave us a record and a dream. So I believe in him.
Another idea that Humana had revolved around suspended animation.
Suspended animation?
Necessary because of the time involved in space travel. It took years just to travel from one planet to another.
And I said, ain't that what they done did to Walt Disney? You remember I said that.
Oh, sure, I remember.
He wanted to cryogenically freeze the members of the band. And for some reason, they agreed to it.
He said no one would listen to this record because it's ahead of its time. So the plan is to freeze us and have us wake up in the future unaged.
Fingers crossed the boys let me hop in that freezer machine with them because they're gonna need a roadie in the future, no?
Now look, I don't know nothing about no cryogenitalia. I just want people to go out and buy our damn record.
It's different, but sometimes you gotta go off the beaten path to garner some attention. We'll only be frozen for 5 years, which will give the general public enough time to build up some excitement for our return.
So they go through with it, but they weren't woken up after 5 years. It's actually been 20 years, and still no one has heard from them. It turns out, a year before they were originally slated to reintegrate, Humana filed for bankruptcy and skipped town. He was the only one who knew where the Wernots were frozen. When he left, the Wernot brothers and their debut album were lost to time.
I'll follow Deuce anywhere, boy. I don't care if he wants to take me to Nagasaki in wartime. I will trust him with my life.
Despite all my reservations initially, this music stuff has really taken us on quite the wild ride, I have to say.
Oh, I was in and out of juvie, high school dropout. No idea where I'd be if Deuce didn't start this band.
When it comes to family, you got no choice but to stick beside it.
You stuck by me that one time I got in trouble for getting into Uncle Dale's super glue.
No, I was literally stuck to you.
I'm not sure what the future has in store. Heck, I'm not even sure that this cockamamie scheme's gonna work, but it has to. This is my legacy. The body of work that'll represent me for eternity.
It's terribly sad that the Wernot brothers never got to finish living their young lives, but even more of a travesty for music as a whole that they were unable to continue making beautiful art for us. Deuce once sang, "Seasons change, but I'm the same. Most folks turn to time to blame, and I don't understand how, but I'm glad to be home." I think their home now is in our hearts. Well, they could also be in our ears because that's how you listen to music. Okay, their primary residence is in our hearts. They have a timeshare in our ears, a lake house in our minds, so they will not be forgotten.
Alright. So I go over here, right?